Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Hour with Kelly. It's pretty early in the morning here, and I have been just looking at some of the comments and whatnot on some of my videos, and I got a really good question that I want to talk a little bit more about. I'm going to go ahead. I took a picture of it if I can make it so that I can read it on my phone. The first part of the question asks about identifying when you're having emotions, where is it coming from? Is it coming from adult? Is it coming from child? Is it coming from adolescent? And to my understanding, any emotion that we're having, that the adult has that neutral perspective. The adult just can observe, take it in, deal with what has to be dealt with. When there's an emotional response, it's coming from that inner child. The child can be coming from the teenager standpoint or coming from the little child standpoint. When we get a lot of anger and those kinds of aggressive emotions, this is my understanding of it, it's more of the teenager perspective. The teenager is protecting the inner child. And the way they protect the inner child is instead of letting the inner child get hurt, they're going to get pissed. They're going to get aggressive. So when you have those aggressive feelings towards something that's happening, that's your inner teenager trying to protect the inner child. I don't think it matters maybe a whole lot. I did do some work with my inner teenager. I actually named her. I named her Darcy. And I would talk to her because I definitely could see that inner teenager developed within me, that rebellious, bitchy, teenage girl developed within me because of that inner child that was being stomped on and hurt and felt unloved and unworthy and unwanted. So I don't know if it's all that important to sift it through, but why not? Why not have a conversation with your inner teenager? Do it exactly the way that we talk about it. Settle in to the teenager perspective when you think about, let's think about whatever event might have happened in your life and think about it, settle into the perspective of the teenager, seeing whatever happened happen. You're not going to friggin' mess with me. You're not going to talk to me that way. You can almost feel the energy of that. It's like, no friggin' way are you messing with me this way. And as the adult, you can come back to them and say, I understand how you're feeling. Tell me more. Let them express themselves, because a lot of where this stuff comes from, you guys, is that we were not listened to as children. Nobody listened to us. They just didn't. We were little kids. And so it trained us to not feel worthy. It trained us to feel like what we thought and what we felt mattered nothing. And so just let the little inner child, the inner teenager, be heard. Let her express herself. Let her be as rotten as she wants to be. Let her say it all, get it all out. And then from the adult perspective, help her after you validate her, after you listen to her, help her to see that, I get it. I understand why you're feeling that way, honey. However, you don't have to be affected by the behavior of this other person. They don't have any power over us. And then if she says, yeah, but she's going to blah, 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 then you just, yeah, I see why you feel that way. I really do. I understand that, but I've got this under control. Adult Kelly is in the driver's seat. I appreciate your help, but I've got this, and you can relax, because I'm going to take care of that inner child. Not going to let her get picked on. Not going to let whatever, blah, 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 and just reassure her. And you have to build that. You have to build that relationship up, because the adult you does need to stand up for herself. I sometimes when I'm doing these videos and stuff, I talk from the perspective like you're already there, but maybe you're not there. Maybe the adult you hasn't got to that place of being able to stand up for themselves without getting angry. That is its own work. Sitting in your adult self and looking at what people's behaviors that are hurting you are, and being able to put a boundary up around it. There are some wonderful YouTube videos around putting boundaries up, and I recommend it. I also read during my counseling time, I read and listened to a lot of Brene Brown. Brene Brown talked about vulnerability, and she has some great videos out, and her books are great too. So I learned a lot from them. So that was part of the question. Now let me see what else I wanted to. Talking about being a people pleaser, and it's difficult for her to say no, and it boils down to wanting people to like me. That is exactly that is it in a nutshell. We want people to like us, because when we were little, we didn't feel valuable, and so we do all of these things looking for external validation and love, when we have to work on it from within. There is no external validation and love. All of that is fleeting. All of that relies on other people. You have to rely on yourself. Love and nurture and validate yourself. Give yourself enough care and enough love that you don't need it from the external. And then when you get it from the external, it's a blessing and that's wonderful, but you don't need it. I was talking with a new friend yesterday, and we talked about, it's just a difference in thinking. When you walk into the kitchen and you're thinking about getting something to eat, what do I want, blah, blah, blah. Instead of doing it that way, adult Kelly, as often as I remember to, this is a wonderful practice, but it's a practice, and I forget too. But as often as I can, I'll drop in and I will say, Kelly, what do you want to eat, honey? What can I get you? I'd like to make you a nice lunch. What would you like? And, I might say, well, I'd like a salad, but I know it's a lot of work. Sweetheart, I am going to make you the best salad ever. Going to have all your goodies in it that you love. It's going to be awesome. And then I do it with the energy of doing it for someone I adore, someone who's worth my time, worth my thoughts, worth my energy. And then I set it up and I put it somewhere where I've got a nice view. And I say, there you are, sweetheart. Is there anything else I can get for you? Well, maybe I'd like to have a drink, or, something, water or something, can I have ice in it? Sure, you can. I'm going to get you that ice water. I know that sounds so whatever. I know, oh my gosh, my hair looks horrible. I know that it sounds out there, but I'm telling you that it works. We can give ourselves the love and the nurturing that we need. We have to start within, not looking at, people. When I meet with them, they're always asking, what should I be doing? What's my purpose? Your purpose is to find your love for yourself. And then you're able to radiate it into the world. When we can feel that beautiful sense of just knowing how worthy we are, knowing how loved we are, it just, that is the object of the game. That's the present moment magic, is when we can set in that present moment and we can just feel how loved we are. You are all loved and you are all worthy. Create that relationship with yourself, and I will work on it too. Care and love yourself enough so that when your mind starts to play in that negative cycle or that negative loop, you stop it. You go, nope, we don't need that. That's not good for us. And you just say to that egoic mind, no, we're not going to run like that. We're going to think about something happier. And whatever it is, get your go-to. Think about my little Zuzu. I'm not going to wake her up to show you her, but because she's been a tyrant this morning. But think of something that makes you smile. A memory. Get a memory. I have the cutest little memory in my head that is one of my go-to of my two grandchildren, who are around a year and a half at the time. They were around a year and a half old, hugging and helping each other. One of them fell down and the other one helped her up, and then they hugged, and it was the most adorable moment in time. And I will just think about that. Even talking about that, I can feel the lift in my body, in my energy. It is a concrete, tangible thing. Our vibrational frequency is a thing, a living thing that we can tend to. It is real and it needs to be tended to. So I hope that idea, I think I've answered most of the question. She had a memory in her writing this question to me, an actual memory popped into her head of her parents fighting, and her, even as a very little child, trying to make them not fight, trying to make them happy, trying to make them settle down, which was completely, now as an adult, we can all sit in the energy of thinking, well, that wasn't her responsibility. But that's what trained her to think everything is my responsibility. That I did, it was the same for me. If my mother used to say, smile pretty and bat your eyes and daddy will be in a good mood. And I was like, what the hell's that teaching me? I got a blaster a smile on, smile pretty and bat your eyes, and then everything's going to be okay. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. That trained me to think, number one, that it's all about my looks. And number two, that it's my responsibility as this little kid to make daddy be able to act like a half decent human being. It wasn't my responsibility. Adult Kelly can say that, but I still have that feeling inside of me when things happen. If somebody gets grumpy with me, if somebody asks me to do something that I don't want to do, I immediately get that knot in my stomach. I can't say no. How can I say no? I just recently had somebody asking me to do something, and I got that pit and I felt pushed, and I'm like, holy crap. You can say no. And the more you practice saying no and seeing that, guess what? They were fine. They might be pissy for a minute, but they're going to be okay. And if they're not, you don't need them anyway. If somebody is going to get so upset with you because you don't do what they want you to do, then who are they to you anyway? You know, it's like poop on them. Let them go. And be fair and reasonable in life. You know, I talk about that too. You know, we can't all get to go first every time. That's not fair. That's not what the object of the game is. We want to be reasonable. We want to give of our time in a reasonable manner when we have given to ourselves first. When we have loved ourselves first, that's when it is going to be, then we have the extra to give. Then you can do the things for other people in a happy way, in a joyful way, you know? So I'm sorry if I've been a little bit preachy, but it really touched a chord. That question touched a chord in me because it is so prevalent in all of us, the inability to say no, the inability to put ourselves first. And, you know, I think it bears saying over and over. The teacher in me knows that you have to say things from 100 different perspectives before the listener, being Kelly, can own it. And so when I'm saying all of this, I am saying it to me. These are all the same things that I have to practice every day. So let's go in. This is Mother's Day weekend. Let's go into this weekend. Let's go into our day asking ourselves, what do you need, Kelly? What do you want to do right now? What's going to make you happy? You don't have to do what's going to make everybody else happy. You can do what makes you happy, and they can take care of themselves. And you know what, guys? Especially if it has to do with your children, no matter where you are in the bringing up of your children, if they're adult or if they're little kids, teach them to love themselves and take care of themselves. And when you model that behavior, that is the greatest way to teach. I am a teacher. I've been to many seminars. I've read many books on how do you deliver things? How do you teach people to do certain things? And I can tell you that acting it out and modeling it is one of the biggest ways to do it. And then they're going to say, well, look at that. And so my generation, the 60-year-olds, we saw our parents model the behavior of children should be seen and not heard. You know, and that's what did that to our inner selves. So I just hope you go into your day and have a happy day. Do something little and special for yourself, and do it from the perspective of, what can I do for you right now to make you happy, to make you feel special, because you, my darling, are loved. Have a great day. Subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. Blessings, blessings. Happy Mother's Day.